He showed up, didn't he?
Yes.
He's a super. He ain't gonna miss a time on TV. I'll tell you that. Fact.
You guys give out these brushes.
All right. Time to go. All right, we're going to open the April the 15th meeting. We'll have the call to order, have invocation by Mr. Hart, Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Forster, and then a roll call. Please stand.
Dip around some bags there. There we go. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you through your abundant grace and mercy. You've allowed us to come together to work in the spirit of unity to conduct the city's business. And Father, we pray that you help us to come in with the spirit of unity. Even though we may disagree, let us not disrespect or disengage each other, but treat each other as brothers and sisters. We thank you for allowing us to live in this beautiful part of your creation that we call Ocoee. And we say a special prayer over our first responders. Lord, watch over them on every call, on every shift, as they watch over us. We're so careful to give you the praise, the honor, and the glory you do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Never had such.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Here.
Commissioner Wilson,
Here?
Mayor Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Fershner,
Here.
and Commissioner Oliver is absent.
All right, we have the presentations and proclamations. We'll start with have a proclamation here for the Arbor ordinance. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increases property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, I, Rusty Johnson, Mayor of the City of Ocoee, do hereby proclaim April the 25th, 2025 to be Arbor Day in the City of Ocoee, and urge all citizens to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands and to support our city's urban forestry program. And I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden hearts and promote the well-being of present and future generations. Is Dan from Recreation Department here? Come on up front, Dan. I'll give you. Got somebody here to take a picture for the staff?
I'm sure Tim will come out in a minute. Maybe. There you go.
There you go.
No, that's all right.
Yeah. Hand me the real one there.
Oh,
Thank you.
yes, it
There you go. Put me in the real one. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, sir.
Hey, I tried.
All right, now we have 2025 Drop Savers Water Conservation Poster Contest winner. Will the Utilities Department come up, please?
Right, Mayor and Commissioners, the Utilities Department is pleased to announce the 2025 Drop Staters Art Contest winners. This is a contest that we had probably maybe 10 years ago that we have reinstated. And I just kind of want to share with you our winners, and we've got prizes for them. So just real quick, we came up with some reusable water bottles, some posters and puzzles. We incorporated their artwork into their prizes. Division 1 was kindergarten and first grade. And third place, we have Mason Harvey.
Come on up.
Might be easier if we just...
You can do each one if you want to.
Second place, Amelia Ramirez. And first place, Rebecca Stewart.
Are you reading off the school too? Which school they're at?
This was open to all public schools in Ocoee. However, the only school that participated was Thornbrook Elementary.
Okay, all right.
We'll do it at the end because we have a long agenda. Okay, so we have second and third grade. We have Elisa Bolak. Amanda Bessa for second place. First place was Thomas Houchen, but unfortunately he couldn't make it here tonight. We've got one more division for fourth and fifth place. Third place goes to Tony Brown. Second place, Presley Knopp. And first place, Caitlin Gokul. Yeah. Okay, we'd like to take a quick picture with the commissioners behind there, if you
We'll
don't mind.
stand behind, Jen, you and, y'all come up front with the kids.
Okay, and we'd like to thank Thornbrook Elementary School, Principal Bowden, and Miss A for their
I
participation.
would like to say also, Thornbrook's always involved in a lot of different things, we appreciate it. All of you come back up, and get your picture made
We'll
with
get
the
a
group.
picture with you, okay?
Teachers are here,
Yes,
yep,
right here.
all right. And the principal?
Yeah, our principal's here.
Hey, good to see you again.
We have all of our students. They still are.
All right, thank you for your participation. We look forward to your entries next year.
Once again, I want to say thank you to Thornbrook Elementary. They are always involved and always doing something out there. I get to go every year to the spelling bee, and it's a wonderful time to watch these young people participate in the school. It's really great. Thank you again for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, we've got a few. Kelly Beck, going into public comments. Staff reports, I'm sorry, you got any right now, Craig?
Yes, sir, I do.
Uh-oh. Hold on a minute, Kelly. Hold on.
Sorry.
Go ahead. About forgot him.
Okay, I'll try to be quick about this. Item number 3 on the agenda is the approval of the management agreement with Down to Earth, who the commission picked at the last meeting as the interim operator for Forest Lake. As of this moment, we have reached tentative agreement, but we don't have the signed document, and we have a few things to wordsmith. So I would ask the commission to allow it to remain on consent and change staff recommendation to authorize the city attorney and city manager to execute the agreement in its final form. Okay, so I think that's something that you all would probably need to vote on.
I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Firster makes the motion for that. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wilson. Anybody have any more comments on it? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously with Commissioner Oliver absent. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Second item I have is, at the request of the developer, item 10, we would like to pull off the agenda and bring back at a time of his choosing.
Item 10,
Yes, sir, and that is the approval of the agreement between City of Ocoee and Fuller's Crossing 429.
all right.
And the last item I have is a little bit of good news. Hopefully, by the next meeting, we'll have it on the agenda for your consideration and approval, but we have reached a tentative agreement with Orange County Public Schools on the school resource officer contract, and that will be announced publicly tomorrow. It has to formally come before you for review and consideration and a vote. But I will say that a little special thank you to Randy Knight, City Manager Winter Park, who served as a spokesperson for the cities of Ocoee, Winter Garden, and Apopka, and all of our police chiefs worked very hard, and Windermere, town of Windermere. But this was a good process, and I thank the commission for their efforts in supporting us as we've been negotiating. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you. So we'll start back on the public comments, but will somebody, one of the city employees, Chief or Mike, will y'all put that middle blind down? Yes, sir.
Oh, it's reflecting off the car.
Glare 'em right in the eyes. Oh, it's all electric too, I guess.
Yeah, somebody.
We'll just have to have
Nobody
somebody
knows how to
stand in
use
front of it.
We'll let this
All right, Kelly,
city
come on
manager
up.
figure it out. Oh, I think you do it here.
It's,
I didn't know it was gonna be that complicated. There you
there you
go.
go. Oh, perfect, right
Come on
there.
down. You haven't got the car covered yet.
I was gonna
There you
say,
go. Thank you. All right,
All right.
Miss Beck.
Yes, sir. So good evening. My name is Kelly Beck. I'm here tonight as the chair of the City of Ocoee's Human Relations Diversity Board. And I'm here to personally invite all of you to join us at our next meeting here at City Hall on May 1st. Our meeting's at 6:15. We have a special guest speaker coming in from the University of Central Florida to facilitate a workshop on enhancing accessibility to build community. This session is about real people and real barriers. We're going to take a look at everyday situation that those with disabilities face and things that most of us may not even notice, and discuss how we can do better, how we can build events, services, and spaces that are truly accessible to everyone. This is about more than a compliance activity. It's about dignity and respect and belonging. And it's about making sure that when someone shows up in Ocoee, they matter. And so the Human Relations Diversity Board has been part of the city for nearly 2 decades, and we're proud to be one of only 5 boards like it in the entire state of Florida. And that speaks volumes about Ocoee's commitment to equity and inclusion, and we know there's always more work that we can do. So I'm here to invite you, our leaders, the city staff, and the community to come join us. Your presence matters, your voice matters, and together we can keep building a community that works for everyone. So thank you. We hope to see you May 1st, 6:15 here at City Hall for our guest speaker from UCF. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. To Lupe Edwards. Better start the time.
Hello, my name is Toluope Edwards. I go by Sarah, which is much easier to say. If you say that. And I'm with the United States Small Business Administration. And I'm here in your community today to let you know about our disaster loan program. I know a while back, Hurricane Milton and Helene impacted a lot of our communities. And we recently extended our deadline for our disaster loans to help anybody, a homeowner, renter, a nonprofit, or a business, if they suffered any structural damage to their property, and also, of course, businesses if they suffered any economic damage. Our homeowners, anybody who suffered any damage to their property, we offer up to $500,000 to repair any structural damage that you might have suffered. Also for renters, if you lost any property, that includes furniture or your car. So even if you don't own a home, you can apply for one of our loans for up to $100,000. Small businesses, we offer a lot of resource, up to $2 million for any structural damage and $2 million for any economic damage that you might have suffered. That includes lost revenue or lost wages. If anybody is interested, and we've extended our deadline through April the 27th, so we still have a couple of weeks that people can apply. You can go to our website. That's at www.sba.gov/disaster. We also have a physical location in Barnett Park. That's in Orange County in the Pine Hills neighborhood if you wanted to go in personally and meet with one of our customer service representatives, and they can help you fill out an application. Again, if you're interested, that's www.sba.gov/disaster. And I encourage anybody to sign up if they think that they might qualify. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome.
We have one other, I have one other one here with this small business. It's George Morning.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is George Morning. I'm the CEO for Small Business Advocates of Central Florida. I have with me Mr. Dave Prasad, who owns Sunshine Hauling Company here in Ocoee. I just want to take a couple minutes of your time to talk about small business. You know, we talk about small business a whole lot and how vital it is to our economy, et cetera, et cetera. And the data indicates that about 99% of all businesses in the country are small business. The majority of all employees in the country work for small businesses. We took a look at some of the data we have here. I think in the city of Ocoee, we have approximately, based on the 2022 census, there's about 1,000 small businesses in Ocoee. We can conservatively estimate that 80 to 85% of those firms are small businesses, and those are the type of businesses that we're talking about. When you look at large projects like what we did at the Orange County Convention Center, what we're doing at the Orange County Convention Center, what we did at the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority, and the youth sports complex that you're doing now, those are the type of projects that greatly impact your local communities by result of small business participation. And just to kind of give you some examples, we spent about $1.2 billion, I forgot to say, I used to work for GO as a small business director for about 8 or 9 years. But when we built the train station out there, the transmodal facility we have out there, we spent about $1.2 billion with that. We awarded about $170 to $200 million to small firms. That economic impact from those small firms created over 1,000 jobs in Orange County alone. In the city of Orlando, and about 1,500 jobs just in Orange County. The tax revenues and benefits for that exceeded $7 million that flowed directly to the county. So when we look at other projects that are coming up, the convention center, it's going to be a $700-800 million project. When you look at the small firms that will participate in that, and you can kind of estimate that $160 million of that will go to small firms, that impact is going to be absolutely huge. And so now when we go to the sports complex that you're looking at here, the small business participation is going to result, if we just conservatively estimate and use the same numbers that we did for GOA, you're going to end up with about 1,000 new employments. Your small firms are going to grow greatly. Employment's going to increase, and those are permanent jobs that get created by small businesses. So I'm out of time. I just wanted to bring that up, talk about it. Mr. Prasad is here as also. He worked with us at GO and had a tremendous outcome for that. So I'm available for any questions or comment if anybody has any. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate the information. All right. We have Mr. Moyer. Is this the 10-minute one, or is this just a?
No, this is 3 minutes.
Okay.
A short one.
Okay.
The 10-minute will come May 20th.
Okay.
My name is Dr. Jim Moyer. I was elected in November and sworn in January as the Orange Soil and Water Conservation 2 supervisor, and it's the areas of Apopka, Ocoee, and Northwest Orange here. We've been working very hard since I joined the board. We have one vacancy right now. We had 4 excellent applicants, and we're still accepting applications. So our meetings are the second Friday of every month at 3:30 at the County Commission chambers. And I welcome everyone to join us at any of our public meetings, open to everyone. We had a good turnout last time. On the downside, and hopefully it won't happen, but there's a bill in the House right now. It's CSHB 973, and it would disband 35 soil and water conservation districts in the state, and there's only 47 of them. And that would include Orange and several other in the area. It is in the State Affairs Committee right now. It's not on the agenda that just came out for this Thursday because I checked, I went over it 5 times. So I'm hoping it never gets on the agenda and just doesn't go anywhere, because I want to get back to basics, just like Chapter 582, Soil and Water Conservation District, and follow exactly what we're supposed to be doing. I have about a minute. I'm switching hats, putting on American Legion hat here. I'm very proud to say we pulled something off the last second. A young man and his person who advocated for him came to us last minute to go to the 90th anniversary of the American Legion Boys State. And we really pulled a rabbit out of our hat. And it was a combination of Ms. Sharon Sider, who's the Legislative Affairs Chair for Ocoee High School, and Mr. Kirk Giles of American Legion Post 63, and Miss Becky Borman, who's part of the American Legion Florida Department thing. So he'll be going to Tallahassee for the 90th anniversary of Boys State, and he's from Ocoee High, and I'm very, very happy and proud. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Moore, Supervisor Moore. One more, just come in late, Nate Robinson.
Good evening. How is everybody? I apologize for not being dressed more appropriately. I'm running between baseball games, so just left Central Park where my little guy was playing t-ball, and then I'll be headed over to Bob Sorensen for my older guy playing in the seniors in just a little bit. So just two quick things I had for tonight, and some maybe more for even the public than even for those in the room here, is just thank you to the city of Ocoee for what you're doing with the Ocoee Little League and really trying to bolster that, revitalize that. So that's really good. It's really great for our city. And then I just wanted to highlight and just maybe bring some attention to the recent municipal election. And the concern that I have is obviously not about anything that's happening in this room or anybody in this room, but just about the amount of voters that are participating in our elections and how involved voters are or not involved. If you're not aware, there's over 29,000 registered voters in the city of Ocoee. And in the most recent election, 1,351 voted. That is less than 4.6%, 4.55% of our citizens, our registered voters, participated in the most recent election. And of those, it gets even more alarming. Of those, 55.59%, or 751 of those votes, were in District 4 alone, my district. I live in Arden Park. So that means that in the other 3 districts of the city, only 600 combined people voted throughout the rest of the city. And those 1,351 people who voted made decisions that changed the city constitution of Ocoee, our charter. And so I just want to encourage everybody in this room and everybody who might be watching the live stream or watching it later, that we need to, as citizens, residents, and voters of Ocoee, to be engaged. We've got to be, because the future of Ocoee depends on our engagement and how we are being involved in what happens. I think probably the most concerning part of all that is that such a little bit of participation happened for those decisions that changed our charter. Decisions that I know were thought long and hard here about what should be put on that charter review, and those decisions were made, but again, by such a low amount of people. So just really wanting to highlight that. The last thing I'll highlight, and I'll give you guys some time back, is that of District 4, my district, only 8.78% of registered voters voted, and they elected a commissioner with that few votes. 751 votes decided the commissioner who would represent District 4. So again, just wanting everybody to think about that, remember that, make sure that we're being engaged in our local communities and in the city as a whole, that we would be encouraging people to be involved in every election. Every election matters, especially local elections. Thank you guys. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Mr. Robinson. I think a total of all our districts come up to about probably 32,000 votes, somewhere in that area, 32,000. We had District 4 was the main thing because, except for the charters, we didn't get a lot of people to vote for the other, so that was one of the problems. And he's exactly right. We need to have people come out and vote. All right, that's all the public comments I have right now, so we're going to go down to the consent agenda. They've pulled 10, and 3 we've already voted on. So we've got 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
I'll make that motion to approve. With
Motion.
those, I'll make the motion to approve excluding number 3 and number 10.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Wilson with 3 out and 10 out. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Furter. Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously with Commissioner Oliver absent. Thank you. All right, first reading of ordinance, none. Second reading of ordinance, public hearing, number 11. Second reading of ordinance for FY 2025 budget amendment. Chief Accountant, Maruda? Hey, come on up.
Good evening. I'm Eileen Meruena, Chief Accountant. So after the budget was adopted, the city faced unexpected demands that have created a need for a budget amendment to continue our operations. So tonight, we are coming to the Commission to approve the proposed amendment to our current fiscal year budget. First, for Recreation Program Fund, there is an increase of revenue of 42,000, and that is for the baseball league. An increase in expense, which is 27,000. For general fund, police operations requested an additional budget for 80,902 for their contractual services and legal expenses. We have 1,254,895 for employer health insurance contribution, and that is due to escalating claims in the city's health insurance program, which will be also across all funds. And also the inter-fund loan, which is 4.5 million to implement the 7th Amendment for Forest Lake Golf Club lease agreement. Meanwhile, the Finance Department has identified 529,611 from unused available budget for those capital projects that have been completed. And this will be returned to our general fund reserves, which will lower the budget requirement to 5,306,186. For Water and Wastewater Fund, we have a total of 675,000 where Utilities Department requested for additional appropriation for their reclaim backup, consulting, and legal expenses. 194,137 for employer health insurance contributions. And then we have Stormwater Fund, additional appropriation for 43,323. Solid Waste Fund for 11,092, and lastly for CRA, 9,552, which are all for employer health insurance contributions.
That it?
Yes.
That's it.
All right. Yeah, we need to read. Hold on, go ahead. Read.
An ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Orange County, Florida, relating to the city budget, amending the city budget adopted by Ordinance 2024-28 for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2024, and ending September 30, 2025, by providing for increase of appropriations, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
All right, I'm going to open the public hearing. Anybody in the public have any comments on the item 11, second reading of ordinance, public hearing for the budget amendment? All right, I'm going to close the public hearing and bring it up to the dais. Anybody on the dais? Anybody, commissioners, have any comments?
I have a question. Can you explain what this budget amendment does in tangible terms? Does it increase taxes? What are we doing by amending this budget in layman terms?
It's just so happened that we have additional requirement, and And majority of this, if you can see, is the 4.5 million for the last city commission that was approved to run the 7th amendment for the Forest Lake lease agreement. And then others is to continue the operations for water, wastewater, and police operations.
To the commissioner's question, we are not raising taxes with this budget amendment. We are taking money that we have, and we're appropriating it in an amendment to our budget, but the tax rate remains the same.
Thank you. That's it.
The only question I would say, what happens with the medical, Craig, city manager, is because of some of the things that affect our medical insurance goes up, so that's.
And that's something that I'm looking at right now in great detail, but as you all are aware, we are a partially self-insured plan, which means when things are good, costs are low. We happen to have a lot of catastrophic claims on the plan, and that is the reason for this proposed budget amendment.
All right, thank you. Anybody else up here have anything to say?
I don't.
Okay, we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance for the FY 2025 budget amendment.
Motion made by Commissioner Ferguson. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Kennedy. Any more comments? No more comments. Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously with Commissioner Oliver absent. All right, public hearing number 12, first reading, transmittal, and public hearing of an ordinance to Vision 2045 Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, plan amendment to replace Ocoee's comprehensive plan in its entirety. Zoning Manager Whitfield.
All right, Mayor, if I may, while Ms. Whitfield is getting set up here, I wanted to introduce this effort, and the comprehensive plan is one of the cornerstone aspects of our community because it sets a land use vision and it creates a future land use map that we are required to demonstrate how we are going to provide the facilities and services that we provide in order to meet the demand created by that growth. We haven't had one of these in a long time. So one of the things I want to point out, first of all, is this effort was handled completely in-house. I used to write comp plans as a consultant, and we wouldn't jump into something like this for anything less than about $400,000. And this market value now, and that was almost 20 years ago, is much higher. And we happen to have a staff that has the expertise and the knowledge in the industry to do a phenomenal job. And I can't thank them enough. What we've done here, and you all have been a part of this, all of you, in one way or another, have been a part of various studies that we've done over the years that had tremendous amounts of public participation and vision documents like the Downtown Master Plan, like the CRA Target Area Development Plan. And this is our first opportunity that we've had to kind of combine everything into a set of requirements that we're placing on ourselves in a good way to say we're going to grow better. And this is based on commission input over the years, as well as tons of citizen input. Tonight, we're asking you to transmit this to the Department of Commerce. And what that means is we're getting ready to start the process by you authorizing transmittal. It's going to go up to Department of Commerce, where it will be reviewed by other state departments for any comments, as well as a peer review by all adjacent municipalities. To our citizens, I would simply say, if you go online and look at this document, we've added a lot in here to improve the quality of life over time. It's a tangible set of goals that we intend to accomplish, and in many of the policies, we're committing to do things. Case in point, a parks master plan, we're committing to continue to evaluate our park system. So we have to do that now. It's in the comp plan, and we're going to continue to update that. Just while I have parks on the brain, we've added drive time criteria in the comp plan now, so a citizen can relate very well to something like that. I want to be able to drive to a park in a certain time frame. We've taken the same approach with the future land use element. We have a mixed-use land use category now that we're proposing that is for our downtown. And this is very exciting because it will allow many of the commission's goals and dreams relating to creating a downtown, a better environment to be realized. Because the next thing that's coming, and that is now a staff effort as well, is the Land Development Code. And that is your implementation arm of your master plan, which is your comp plan. And so we're very excited about this because this is our one shot that we've had in a long time to really say, okay, things that are going to happen on the ground now are going to have to adhere to these environmental goals, these land use goals, these open space goals, and these transportation goals, and utilities goals. I don't want to leave them out because when I said all facilities and services, we've got to be able to meet the growth demand. And so I'm going to let Notch, we've condensed her 130-slide presentation down to about 18 slides. So we're going to try to get you out of here at least 2 hours earlier than you might have thought. And reminder that you're going to get to come back and talk about this and ask more questions. I'll extend this to the commission because this is a big document and we have some time to tweak things here and there. I would encourage you to reach out to me and I'm happy to sit you down with staff to have a deeper dive into this. As our adjacent municipalities and state agencies are now doing, considering that we're recommending that you authorize transmittal. Take it away.
Thank you, Craig. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, members of the audience. As Craig mentioned, this is our Envision 2045 Comprehensive Plan Amendment. Oops, it's not working. So the issue before the Commission this evening is whether or not to approve the proposed ordinance to adopt Envision 2045. As Craig mentioned, it repeals and replaces in its entirety the city's current 2002 comp plan. I want to point out that it would be, even though it's a repeal and replace of the comp plan, it is still following the state's expedited state review process. So if the commission chooses to approve tonight, we would have to transmit it to the state and regional agencies within 10 days, and then they have 45 days to review and provide comments back, and then afterwards the city would have 180 days to take action. We are hoping to bring this back to the commission in June for the second reading and public hearing for adoption. So very quickly, a little bit of background. This is the 2002 comp plan. It's listed and organized by the different elements that are required by statutes. It was based on data that was in the late 90s, early 2000s, and has since expired and does need to be updated. When we first started this, step one was looking at the statutes and any statutory changes that's occurred over the past 2 decades. And then this is just a summary of the statutory requirements. Statutes now require that the comp plan has a 10-year and a 20-year planning horizon. So we have to look out how we provide services in 10 years and then how we provide services in 20 years. It also requires us to look at population projections. The comp plan is also required to have a map series to include the future land use map, mixed use categories and where they may be located, historical and natural resources, and their current conditions, as well as our transportation systems. The comp plan is also required to have a capital improvements strategy, which includes the 5-year CIP and a demonstration of how the city will grow in an economically sustainable manner over the 20-year planning horizon. We're also required to identify and protect our natural resources and generally the ability of the city to accommodate the projected growth. in terms of transportation, water, sewer, solid waste, drainage, and protecting our aquifer, the provision of housing, schools, and recreational open space. Schools no longer legislatively required, but we do have a commitment with Orange County Public Schools. So Envision 2045 will contain 2 volumes. The first volume is the policy framework. It is Exhibit A to the ordinance. The Exhibit A, so Volume 1 will be adopted. Volume 2, the data inventory and analysis document, serves as a resource of all the data analysis that staff has conducted over the past year. After looking at the statutory requirements, we then looked to the evaluation and appraisal report that was done in 2010, as well as the various special area plans that the Commission has adopted over the past 10 years or so, including the Downtown Master Plan, the State Road 429 overlay areas, the 3 character areas, the CRA plan that Craig mentioned, as well as various studies and efforts that the city participated in with DOT. So all of that is a compilation to create and reorganize the comp plan into focus areas to sort of achieve the vision and the desires that was expressed in the year. So we're now organized into essentially 5 chapters, and I'll go into detail on those 5 in a moment. So the entirety of the comp plan is intended to help the city achieve a vision that is an Ocoee that is vibrant, that's attractive, economically stable, where our businesses thrive and neighborhoods flourish. We have a diverse, compact, and complementary land use patterns, where our policies produce quality developments and a safe, connected transportation system, but at the same time preserving our environmental resources and natural systems, creating parks and open spaces, and promoting opportunities for social engagement, because the end goal that you'll see as you read through the comp plan is to achieve a healthy community, and healthy is physical, social, and all aspects of health for humans and for the environment. So the future land use, it's the first element in Chapter 2, which is the chapter where we strive for a vibrant and attractive community. The DIA for this element focused on historic and projected population growth. The goal, as I mentioned, is to achieve a balanced community. There are 8 objectives in this element. The key updates are, they include 2 new future land use categories. One is to encourage a transitional land use, and then the second one is a mixed use category that Craig mentioned. We're also proposing adjustments in the density ranges in existing residential designations, establishing a density maximum within the current professional services, commercial, light industrial, heavy industrial, future land use categories. The current comp plan allows us to do that now, except that provision lives in the DIA portion of the 2002 comp plan. We're just moving it into the policies of the 2045 comp plan. Also looking at creating very clear criteria for flume amendments, which doesn't exist now, and also putting an emphasis on urban design and architectural design for the built environment, and preserving natural and historic resources through sustainable practices. So very quickly, this table just lists all of the existing and 2 proposed future land use categories, the current density and intensities, and the proposed densities, intensities, and then their net change. And that's on the right-hand side. So for purposes of getting through the presentation, I won't go into detail. The comp plan update in Vision 2045 also proposes to apply the mixed-use category to the downtown area, which is the middle image. It's a composition of the existing, like parts of some of the character areas, the downtown district master plan, and the downtown redevelopment area boundaries, and then also applying the mixed-use designation also onto the CRA boundary. The housing element is the second element in Chapter 2. The data analysis includes an extensive inventory of the city's housing stock from the 2002, all the permitting history through 2022, and then projecting out housing demand based on the persons per household in the current comp plan. The goal for the housing element is to build an attractive city where folks want to live here and grow here. That's a slogan that the comp plan team is putting forth. The housing element has 6 objectives. The key updates in the housing element include prioritizing quality and diversity in housing typologies for residents through all stages of life and ranges of affordability. So ensuring that for first-time home buyers, retirees, divorcees, small families moving up to larger families, we want to make sure that we're providing housing for all of our different population needs. And also the housing element has specific objectives and policies focused on protecting residential character and historic resources. The last element in Chapter 2 is recreation and open space. The DIA also included looking at existing parks, parklands, and trails, and also looking at bringing the city to meeting the national benchmarks that other communities are using now. The goal is to provide a comprehensive and accessible and inclusive and sustainable park system and recreation system. And inclusive here considers the ages of our users, park users, like children, seniors, and their various ability levels. The recreation and open space element proposes 6 objectives. The key updates here are to update the level of service standard. We're now at 4 acres per thousand. We're wanting to increase that to 8 acres per thousand with a goal of 10.2 acres per thousand by 2045. We're also looking at the number of parks per residence, as well as the walkability, as Craig mentioned, of our residents' ability to get to the park system by way of the 10-minute walk, which is a national program. The recreation and open space element also puts forth policies to promote environmental stewardship through educational resources. So that's Chapter 2. Chapter 3 is by itself is the infrastructure element. We want to make sure that our infrastructure is efficient and reliable and well-maintained. This element consists of 2 sub-elements. The first one is utilities. The second is drainage. The DIA for utilities, the team looked at historic consumption rates and trends, and then projecting out the customer and consumer demands over the 10-year and 20-year planning horizons. Just want to point out this is the city's service area, which includes city and some parts out of the city that we're obligated to serving, not the entirety of the city's geographic boundary. The goal for the utilities element is to plan for and provide a high-quality water, sewer, reclaimed water service to our residents and our users, our customers. There are 8 objectives. The key updates include updating the level of service for water, sewer, and reclaim service, reducing water consumption, and improving water conservation, as well as updating the water supply plan, which we're required to do within 18 months of the regional supply plan being updated. The second sub-element is drainage. The inventory looked at all of the drainage basins in the city as well as all the sub-basins. We went from 16 sub-basins to 17 sub-basins, and also looking at the topography of the city in terms of soils. That is for purposes of protecting aquifer recharge in high recharge areas. The goal for the drainage sub-element is to protect water quality and improve our city's resiliency to floods. There are 4 objectives that's in this sub-element. The key updates include creating a drainage level of service. The current 2002 comprehensive plan does not have a drainage level of service. This comp plan is proposing to have one. It also focuses on water quality, basin protection, and flood resiliency. Chapter 4 is the mobility element, formerly the transportation element. Our team looked at existing systems, the operating levels of service for all the roadway segments that we currently monitor through the concurrency management system. We looked at planned improvements in the 10-year and 20-year planning horizon, a coordination between development services and public works and our transportation consultant, and then looking at what those planned improvements would yield in the 2034 and 2045 roadways, transit, and bike ped facilities. The goal for this element is to provide a resilient and logically connected mobility system. 5 objectives are proposed. The key updates here is a transition for our level of service for roadways from a trips-based roadway standard to a context classification base, which looks at not just the trips on the road, but also the context of the land uses in that road system. So a 4-lane road in a densely populated area is going to operate and function differently than a 4-lane road in more rural areas or more less dense areas of the city. So we want to make sure that we're planning for the context to make sure that our residents and our visitors are moving safely. Another key update is creating a bicycle and pedestrian level of service standard, which doesn't exist now in the transportation element. And that level of service is through a methodology called the level of stress, traffic stress, and it basically evaluates the pedestrians or the bicyclists' level of comfort as they travel along the roadway based on the presence of bike lanes, sidewalks, how far they are from the travel lanes, and things like that, whether there are spatial separation or physical separations to protect them from vehicular conflicts. The last thing is focusing on transportation safety and transportation efficiency, which considers system connectivity, circulation, and access, and also the resiliency of all of these modes. The Chapter 5 is conservation, so we want to make sure that how we grow is environmentally sustainable and environmentally friendly. The conservation elements, DIA looks at all of the inventory of existing wetlands, riverines, floodplains, lakes, aquifer recharge areas, and also looking at the historic changes in each of those resource types. The goal for the conservation element is to preserve, rehabilitate, and construct natural and artificial ecosystems, as well as protecting our flora and fauna biodiversity to protect both human health and environmental health. So essentially, if we protect our environment, we're also protecting our own human health. There are 5 objectives that staff is proposing. The key updates are to minimize development impacts through innovative, sustainable design and engineering practices, and also prioritizing protection of natural resources to the greatest extent possible. The last chapter in Vision 2045 is having a responsible, accessible, and open governance. There are 4 elements in this chapter: public schools, intergovernmental coordination, capital improvements, and private property rights. You'll see in this table that there are no changes to the private property rights element because we just adopted that in 2022 per that year's legislation. The schools element has 4 objectives, intergovernmental has 5, and capital improvements has 3. The goals generally for all 3 of those elements is to continue and to coordinate and maintain positive relationships with federal, state, and regional agencies, as well as Orange County, the school board, and our adjacent sister municipalities. Key updates in these elements basically is to achieve consistency with all the changes in the other elements that you just heard, and then predominantly reorganizing, consolidating, and eliminating redundancies and policies that are no longer relevant or that reference state rules and codes, such as the Florida Administrative Code that no longer exists, 9J5 to comp planning. So with that, the Planning and Zoning Commission heard this item through a series of 3 meetings. The first one was a presentation to them on the data and analysis document, which was a long workshop on just data in March of 2024. And then the goals, objectives, and policies work session in March of 2025. That was the March 20th meeting where we had to move it because of elections. On April 8th, last week, PZC considered the item, and following 1 public comment, they made a unanimous decision to recommend approval. And with that, staff is also seeking seeking City Commission approval to transmit the ordinance to the state. That is my presentation.
All right, commissioners, any comments?
I have some.
All right.
Again, very impressive. Great job from what I could see, and thank you for putting the acronyms at the end. So I have a real problem with that when I don't always follow what each one means. It's interesting when you just go to, like, one I pulled out was the planned bike and pedestrian improvements. It's amazing what's going to happen, we anticipate happening between now and 2045 compared to what we have. And the book is interesting. I mean, I don't know if anyone can see, but it's quite thick. And it has a lot of maps in it.
This is the current book.
That's okay, well, I guess I have nothing to complain about, huh? Okay. It was interesting, I guess, again, interesting reading. I think you did a great job from what I can see.
Thank you.
And I think it's something that I hope our residents would like to look at, because looking at where we will be in 2045, or anticipate when I'm in my late 80s, But it's just something of, again, looking at that, the bike pedestrian, what we're going to have, because a lot of our folks want, they want to travel, like out to the bike trail in Winter Garden, and we see where we're going to be, and we know that Oakland Avenue is going to be an avenue that we're going to be able to use, but sometimes we don't see the grand plan.
Yes.
And it's kind of nice looking at it. There's different areas I thought were very fascinating. It's just looking at what you have done with, you can, on one of the maps, rental properties versus owner occupied.
Yes.
And the other one is the values. I mean, I'm
Yes.
looking at it, and I know we have a very small print here, but again, a lot went into this, and those are just some of the things I've kind of, was interesting to me. And I think they're very interesting to our residents. They may not, the whole book may not be as fascinating, maybe to them as it would be to you, but it has a lot of information. So I was impressed with what I was seeing.
Thank you. When it's finally adopted to the adoption stage, the final publications that we'll have for the commission are the pullouts with the fuller sheets, the bigger sheets, so that you can see them all.
I'm sitting here trying to figure this out. I might need a highlighter to go over it, but yes, no, again, to me, it had a lot of fascinating. I'm not going to admit that I read word for word the whole thing at all the pages. I'm glad you condensed it, but as I was going through it, I was very impressed.
Thank you.
You have anything, Commissioner Sorson?
Yeah, I would just like to once again thank the staff for a wonderful job that they've done on this compared to past comp plans and everything, which were completely boring. This is nice. I mean, it's a slick little production with the pictures and the maps and everything. You did such an excellent job on that, and it's ordered fantastically. You can go right through it from the front to the back and everything. You know exactly where it is, and it's just physically laid out great. I went through it. I looked at a lot of the elements and all, but there's still a lot to be digested, at least on my part. So I look forward to the future where we can ask some questions and discuss some of the items. But very good. Good job.
Thank you.
Mr. Kennedy?
I agree completely with Commissioner Firstner. I've been digesting it. I'm going through in some detail. I have a lot of questions later for staff.
Sure.
But I went back and watched, I think it's a 2.5-hour presentation you gave to P&Z.
Yes, sir.
All of the members of staff and the different departments, very thorough. And what I really love is the change or the push, and I don't know whether those existed in 2001 or not, but the use of the metrics and the national standards. Some of that's a little technical, but some of it, as Craig prefaced already, is really relatable to citizens, and I love that. The 10-minute walk and the entire city should be accessible within a 15-minute drive. Wow. Because I know my life, I spend my life thinking, gosh, it should only take 10 minutes to get here. Why is it taking 30?
Yep.
And I think I think those are the types of common sense goals that citizens want to see us working on. And I think as much common sense as it may seem to us, it's clear the level of technical skill and planning that you're going to have to go through to make it achievable. And so again, I want to reiterate, I think staff's doing a wonderful job. It's amazing how you can see all of the points of view of different groups and leaders in the community brought to bear. And I'm very excited that this is going to be our guidepost as you finish up the land development code, et cetera. I really do believe that this is going to be one of the greatest events in the history of our city in the long run.
Thank you.
So I'm very appreciative. Thank you.
over the years and back looking at the comp plan, I was going through the book, like I said, going through the different things, and you've done such a great job with laying it out. One of the things I think we need to do is have a city library where if a citizen wants to come down and spend a few days, or not a few days, but an hour or so, and go, and it could take a few days if you want to really read it.
It will.
But really have some kind of way they could come down. We can't print out 50,000 books, but if we could have it where they could come down and sit down in one of our areas and go through this and see some of the different things that has to happen with the city to make sure the city is keeping up with all the comp plan and everything that we do. The different things of the water service, reducing water service is also a big thing because of trying to cut back on the water and make sure we have the water. The other thing is the safety on the roads, making the roads safe for people to be on and being able to move around in the city, like you said, to be somewhere within a certain amount of time and doing that. I think we're getting there. I think you're right. In the future, this is going to be a big help with what goes on in our city, and I think I would love the citizens to, it's hard to just sit down and tell somebody for a couple hours. I think if we, maybe homeowners would want to come in when they do it, we could give them a way to read this.
Mayor, if I may, one of the things that we actually have been discussing today is that prior to final adoption, having a community open house in the Lakeshore Center where we would have displays set up that depicted the new organization of the comp plan, and we would have staff, subject area experts, standing by, and then we would have one set time where we would give a presentation and take questions.
Right.
So that's something that we haven't vetted fully yet because, like I said, this is getting sent out to the state agencies as well as our neighbors. But when we get all the comments incorporated, I'd like to do a community open house in the Lakeshore Center with a structure loosely following what I just depicted.
I think it gives the citizens the availability to see the different things that has to happen and is going to happen, and things that have changed over the last 20 years or whatever in our city. It gives them an opportunity to see it visual and ask questions of the different departments. So I think that'd be a great idea. All right.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
Briefly. One thing, it may not be clear. If you go to the city's website, if you go to the City Agenda Center and you pull up this meeting and you go to item 12, there are electronic copies, PDFs of both volumes of the comp plan that you can review over several days in the privacy of your own.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm doing.
All right. So, all right, we're at, we need a motion on the.
Before that, first we have to do a reading. I have to read it, but Mayor, if I may, just interject, as someone who's practiced in the area of land use law for more than 2 decades, just a tremendous job by staff in putting this together. I just have to echo everything. Just one legal correction, if I may, and the old comp plan is not expired. It remains in effect until the new one is adopted. I didn't want that hanging out there. So an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, amending the City of Ocoee Comprehensive Plan as adopted in 1991, as amended, to repeal the 2002 Ocoee Comprehensive Plan in its entirety and replace such plan with a new updated comprehensive plan entitled Envision 2045, providing for transmittal to reviewing agencies, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
All right, we'll open the public hearing real quick. Anybody in the public have any comments on the comprehensive plan 2045? Don't forget to fill the form out.
I'm Doug Gomber, president of the White Hill Homeowner Association. I have gone on the website, Scott, and it is interesting. I'd like us to make a suggestion, Mr. Whitfield.
Yes.
Would it be possible to have 10 or 15 copies of this available in your office that we as citizens could come in and use like a library, come in and check one out, and bring it back? Because I'm not going to sit at a computer and sit all day long looking at that. I just can't do that. But if you have extra copies, we could come in and check them out and bring them back to you, then the rest of us could all use it that way. 'Cause I don't know what it's, if that's something that can be done.
Maybe we can print out about a half dozen copies and see what the demand's like
That's exactly what I'm
and
talking
save a
about.
few trees, you know.
Right? And be available in her office.
Absolutely. And just so everyone knows, and anyone from the public, the front area of the Planning and Development Department over here is a kind of a customer resource area where we want to encourage that. We actually have little rooms that you can sit down with a hard copy and a cup of coffee, and you can just read until your heart's content. And that's why that space was designed that way. But that's a great idea.
That's great.
Absolutely happy to authorize,
Okay, that
printing
would be-
some of
that'd be
those.
wonderful.
Sure,
Thank you, guys.
absolutely.
Hey, before you come up, that's why I was saying what I said about coming up here and doing that. You come up, take the time to have it in there, and he's exactly right. There's spaces in the building department where you can sit in an alcove and go through that. All right, Mr. Moore. Supervisor Moore.
Yes, sir. I've been going to the last few Orange County meetings for several months now. So this is just curious. There may be a good reason for it. But why did you choose 2024? I know the county has Vision 2050. I have sat in, I'm not saying I absorbed it, but I have sat in to several of the meetings when it was being presented.
Well, it's 2045 is the
Ours
horizon.
is, yes, ours is 2045 because our current one was adopted in 2022. We started this in we started the comp plan update process in 2023, 24, so we just went up to the next closest 5-year digit. Orange County's 2050 vision is probably because their comp plan was adopted on a 0 year, so they just added 20 years to it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, don't forget, if you haven't filled out, if you're going to talk, you have to fill the form out, speaker's form, before you leave. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name's Chris Chambers. I'm a president for the Homeowners Association in Forest Ridge at Ocoee. I heard, mine is more of a question. I heard you state in the CPI that there is a component that deals with the historical sites within the city. In my community, it stands the hollowed ground, which is in the city of Ocoee. Are there any plans within this CPI that will cover that historical site?
So in Objective 6 of the housing element, we added a brand-new objective, which is 6 to, the objective is to preserve and protect historic structures and sites. And it lists all the historic resources that our team looked through, and we've mapped them. The cemetery and hallowed grounds, I believe, is among those that list. But it also puts in policies for guiding how historic properties ought to be preserved and maintained, repaired, because, for example, brick, you can't treat historic bricks and old bricks the same way. You can't clean them the same way as you do new bricks. So there is provision in the housing element that deals with that. Ginger, she's talking to me from the audience, so I'm going to ask Ginger to come up here. Oh, yes, sure.
Ginger Corliss, Development Services Director. We also in the Recreation and Open Space have some policies that relate to our historic sites, especially hallowed ground, and the cemeteries relates to being good stewards and looking at those sites of where they may be able to be provided to public access. So there's elements and policies, basically in the elements there are policies that we can build on. There have been previous plans in the past regarding that specific site. I'd be glad to get with you on those and how those may be moved forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right. That's it. I'm going to close the public hearing. Bring it back up to the dais. Any more comments? If not, we need a motion.
I'll make that motion to transmit is that correct?
Yes. Motion transmit.
Commi-
And then-
Motion to transmit.
Approve.
Well,
Approve and transmit.
approve and transmit? Okay, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson, seconded by Commissioner Kennedy. Any more comments? No more comments. Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously with Commissioner Oliver absent.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate all your work, everybody's work. Thank you very much. All right, we're down to, before we get to the comments, I'm going to read off the different little things here. First thing I want to say is, last Saturday, we had Chick-fil-A and the City Recreation Department had the 5K race. I was the only mayor, commissioners there. It missed a good day. It had a lot of activities, we had 364 or 65 runners. They had a max. They had to cut it off. And they also had a day of up to 12 o'clock with all the people could go around to different functions, different things that the cities offer, like giveaways and stuff for children and all that. So it was a great morning. The weather was pretty good too, so it turned out great. The race was, I think the guy that won the race did it in 19 minutes for the 5K. So he was moving. So we did it in a new way, so it was great. So April the 25th is Breakfast with the Easter Bunny. Saturday, April the 19th from 8:30 to 10:30, Ocoee Lakeshore Center. The cost is $12 per person. Reservations are required. For more information and to reserve your spot, contact Parks and Leisure Services. Easter Egg Extravaganza, Saturday, April the 19th, from 11:30 to 2, Ocoee Lakeshore Center. Enjoy an egg hunt, exciting games, crafts, and visit with the Easter Bunny. May the 25th, Ocoee Community Market, Thursday, May the 1st, 5 p.m. through 9 p.m., Ocoee Lakeshore Center. This month's market is focused on Mother's Day. Ocoee Police Department Community Picnic, Saturday, May the 3rd, 11 a.m. through 2 p.m., Vandergrift Central Park, 560 Fluellen Avenue. Centennial Celebration, Friday, May the 9th, 5 p.m. through 10 p.m., Bill Breeze Park. Time capsule installation, Tuesday, May the 13th, 6:30 p.m., Withers McGuire, 16th East Oakland Avenue. Memorial Day ceremony, Thursday, May the 22nd, 11 a.m. through 12 p.m., Ocoee Lakeshore Center. All right, Commissioner Forster, you have any comments?
No, you covered it all, Mr. Mayor. I don't have any comments.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yeah, it's the first time I'm speechless.
Go blue.
I think you do that first.
I ain't gonna
so
say
I
that.
can't-
I ain't gonna say
I can't. I know a lot of folks have been waiting for Wawa to open. I understand it's going to open, the grand opening is on May 1st, so all those who are just anticipating to go buy gas and whatever at Wawa, so plan that. And I have nothing else to say after that.
One more thing, Oakland Avenue is open.
Yes, part of it.
Part of it,
Part
first
of it.
block, beautiful. Once again, go look at that, that is great, thank you. It's been a long time coming.
We're going to have nothing to say by the time.
Go ahead. You always beat me to
No,
it.
I know, I always try to beat you to it, don't I? No, I'm good, thank you. Happy Easter.
Commissioner Kennedy.
No comments.
All right. Thanks, everybody. I really don't have any more comments. Have a safe week. We'll see you back here on, what is it?
May.
May.
May.